major boom of fintech, or financial technology companies, over the past year, with nearly 9,000 new startups just in the U.S. To discuss how that's changing the financial industry in a broader way, I do want to bring in Joseph Gissy, founder and CEO of Strategy Marketplace. Hi, Joseph. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Greta.
So to start off, tell me how these new fintech companies are changing the space and how that impacts the broader financial industry.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I mean, first and foremost, it's providing access to a whole new demographic of people, or people who haven't really had access to banking. So banking is really the industry having the most change and innovation. And this really all stemmed from pretty much the 2008 financial crisis. So when that happened and the traditional banks and institutions really started having some fines imposed on them, they had a bunch of restrictions, they weren't really able to innovate. And because of that, we had a bunch of other new fintech companies or smart companies that were getting into banking come out of that and start revolutionizing the way that people see banking in general. And what it's doing is it's providing access to people who may not have traditional means to get to a bank, open an account, have lending, have insurance services. And it's actually, helping the global market with a mass appeal. I mean, there's about 2 billion people on this planet that don't have a banking account. And because of fintech innovation, it's allowing access to people who wouldn't normally have access to these accounts. So it's changing the landscape, and multiple levels of banking is definitely one of the sectors that is changing the most.
And there's another kind of niche part of the fintech industry, and that's known as wealth tech. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so this is the space I'm really interested in because I've been on the financial services side, meaning the investment portfolio management side of the industry for the last 11 years. And really this space is ripe for disruption. So we have what's really known as robo-advisors and these platforms where it's automatic investing for clients. So they may have had really expensive investment models or something that was really passive, or maybe investors didn't really know how to invest. Well, now through AI, through algorithmic investing, trend, quantitative analysis, they can literally put their account into a brokerage system and they can have it automatically invested for them. And so these robo-advisors are really taking off and have really helped not necessarily replace the financial advisor. I don't see that happening because I think there's still a need for a financial professional to help people with an overall portfolio, but it's helping augment that practice where it takes that investing and makes it really easy for the everyday investor. And again, these are accounts that, if you only had a few $1,000s, you can start with sometimes for free, and you get pretty much catered, personalized financial advice for a fraction of the price.
All right, and on that, I do want to get your opinion on something that happened today, kind of big in this space. Robinhood was hit with a really big fine today by FINRA, the biggest that regulator has ever imposed on a company in the past. Part of the issue there was their automated systems, not managing them properly, and misleading customers. Do you think that creates any changes going forward in that space?
Well, this is one of the Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan has said, there needs to be a little more regulation for fintech because some of these businesses and models are showing some claims out there that maybe they can service when they can't service clients the best. I mean, they've had a couple shutdowns on their platform because it's a new system, and because of how fast they've grown, the bandwidth has been a little challenging for them, up to this point. But it's just going to create, it's going to create an environment where the fintech's going to have to work with regulators to make sure that they have the systems in place, to make sure that they can handle the bandwidth, and that they don't have outages like they did on Robinhood. And a platform like that, where everybody's trading some pretty advanced trading methodologies, it's also one of those platforms that the typical investor should be aware of when they're trading options trading. I think they're doing a great job getting people into investing, and I think they're going to pivot to more education, which is what this fine is really helping them do, is pivot to so they can help educate the everyday investor about what it is that they are actually specialists in, but also help with the bandwidth problems and help build out their platform.